Well, it's been a while since I've covered true wireless products because most of the ones that are aside from the mainstream offerings were kind of also rants that lack a certain amount of refinement. However, it seems that the market for these have matured, and now we get very value-packed true wireless sets for quite a reasonable price actually. So I want you to meet the Rose Technics Ceramics X and the EARFREE i5, both with a lot to offer for not a lot of cash. Full disclosure, I've been sent these two sets from Rose Technics to review, but they do not have any control over my review, and these are all my honest thoughts using the two sets. So with that, let's get into it. Both boxes are stylized with the Ceramics X going with a white, smaller box, whilst the EARFREE i5 box is bigger with a chrome look. Now open them up and you get the true wireless sets themselves in the case, with a white pearlescent coat for the Ceramics X, and the EARFREE i5 is going for a more understated matte black. Now we'll get to these in a bit. The rest of the accessories are standard for your usual true wireless sets, with 4 sizes of ear tips, a USB-C cable, and the instruction manual printed in English, Chinese, and Japanese. Now let's look at the Ceramics X. This one has a more, I'd say, rounded kind of Galaxy Bud style design, as you can see from the little earpieces here. It's using matte white plastic that it feels quite well built, but the finishing of the seams over here, well, they can be a little bit better, but it does fit nicely snug on the ears. Now here's my example of the Rose Technics Ceramics X microphones. Now with the EARFREE i5, you're getting a more kind of AirPods design with the earpieces having that little stem with it, complete with oval shaped ear tips, as you can see to fit your ears better, and it has an ear detection sensor over here that auto pauses music when you take one side out. And here's a mic sample of the Rose Technics EARFREE i5. For the common features, both sets have IPX5 water resistance, which is especially impressive for the Ceramics X over here, considering its $40-ish price tag. And they both support LDAC with a low latency gaming mode, keeping the delay roughly within 100 milliseconds. And they both have a pretty subtle transparency mode, maybe just a bit too subtle. They also have ANC. With the higher end EARFREE i5, you can actually choose between 3 levels of noise cancellation intensity as well as 3 levels of transparency intensity for this guy. However, I feel that the strongest ANC setting on both of these are still kind of weak, and they could certainly use a boost in the future firmware update. Still, the performance of the noise cancelling and transparency is at the level of Galaxy Buds, Samsung Galaxy Buds. Not top of the pack, but certainly very usable and versatile. Finally, there's a very effective wind cancellation mode, or I guess you could call it wind suppression mode. Here's my super scientific test of me sticking my ears next to a fan. And I've also ridden on a motorbike on a windy day, and about 80% of the raspy sort of wind noising were eliminated. Very impressive. Now as for battery, Rose Technics advertises 10 hours on a single charge and 50 more in the case for both of these, but these are somewhat optimistic numbers. In real use, with a mix of music, videos, having the noise cancellation and transparency modes being used interspersed throughout, I get about 6 to 7 hours out of these two, which is still very good and should more than suffice for daily needs. On top of this, you also have this Rose Link companion app that asks for a fairly conservative amount of permissions. It's only asking for nearby device access instead of almost everything like the Moondrop Link app. The app itself gives you a fairly clean looking GUI to see the battery life on the individual buds. You can change the noise cancelling modes over in this panel. you get free EQs that are named Super Master EQ over here, which gives you pop, hi-fi, and rock options. And if you go with the EARFREE i5 over here, not only are you getting those stock free EQ presets, you're also getting a light preset, which basically reduces the bass. Now, for an idea of how these EQ presets change the sound, you can take a look at the frequency graphs over on my Squiggling database, links in the description. And beyond that, you can also remap the button taps to your liking, and with the EARFREE i5 here, you also have this lab features tab, the in-ear detection toggle. Additionally, there is a square section here, it's a square page, which includes background noises. Look at this. So you can choose between a few types of background noises, including the nature sounds, rainfall, or like a warm fire to sort of help you sleep. And you can play up to 3 types at the same time. Personally, I don't really use this, but I appreciate that Rose is adding more value to their software with this, and I hope that they do add more sounds in the future.
Noise cancelling off. Transparent mode. Wind noise cancellation. Noise cancelling on. Gaming mode. Music mode.
降噪关，环境音，抗风降噪，深度降噪，游戏模式。
Now all of those features and the app, it's all good, but that don't really matter if they don't sound good, does it? Thankfully, the two Rose Technics IEMs, or two wireless IEMs, deliver on the sound quality front as well. Both sets, they have a well-tuned, energetic V-shaped signature that is trying to extract the most detail that it can from the drivers within. It's not a balanced sound, however, for a true wireless product, I think that aiming for a more kind of fun sound is more suitable for, say, daily commute situations where you're not exactly going to be paying attention to all of the musical nuances and you're just looking for a bumpin' but a clear kind of sound. Now both sets here, they have a strong bass impact, but the Ceramics X is the bassier of the two. Whilst the EARFREE i5, it has a brighter tone, it also has better detail retrieval and resolution, comparable to true wireless with like planar drivers like the Moondrop Golden Ages actually. Both of these sets from Rose Technics, they have a strong 8 kHz kind of clarity boost, which makes for sharp, clearly defined instrument performances, although it does come with some rare over sharpening. Vocals, they're slightly behind the overall mix with some unnatural timbre here and there, I guess. Likely this is due to the strong V-shaped tuning. Stick with instrumental mixes and EDM for these true wireless sets and you'll have a good time, I think. Now, if you want a more in-depth sound analysis and some comparisons to the similarly priced true wireless sets, I have written reviews of both the Ceramics X and the EARFREE i5 on HeadFi, so you can head over there and check those out as well if you want a deeper dive into these. Now, if this was a few years ago, you'd be hard-pressed finding fairly priced third-party brand true wireless sets that don't just suck. And mostly you needed to rely on the mainstream sets from Sony, Samsung, and Apple to drop in price on the used market to get something actually good. Luckily, nowadays for a modest sum of cash, you can still grab a true wireless set from, I guess, a non-mainstream brand and still score some big value. Packed with features like the active noise cancellation, transparency, and you have the wind noise suppression modes, IPX5, LDAC, and a fairly refined companion app as well. most importantly of all though, a nice energetic V-shaped sound that doesn't go overboard and is actually well tuned. The Rode Technics Ceramics X and the EARFREE i5 I think deliver a lot for not a lot of cash, and if you're looking for a set to buy for yourself or for friends and family in Christmas or this New Year's event, I think these are quite a nice bargain to have. And that's gonna be it for this video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, join the Discord that I have, and if you can, please spare a few bucks on my Patreon. It'll really help the channel out.